Gardner. I am the Director of Operations at the company called Pharmalabs. I have been in business for approximately, me personally, 10 years. I'm passionate about business and health, and I'm a pharmacist. So Pharmalabs is a pharmacy, and we fill prescriptions all over the United States. We do compounding, sterile compounding, non-sterile compounding, and commercial products for prescriptions. And we are passionate about taking technology and how can we take technology to improve patients' lives and improve their experience when they come to Pharmalabs as the pharmacy. So growing up and in my career, I would categorize my two passions as technology and health. And eventually that led me to the opportunity that I'm at now, being the Director of Operations at Pharmalabs. Another company, Melon Leaf, was referred to me very highly from the CEO of another company. And through that referral, that's basically started the partnership that we had. And working with Melon Leaf, it gave me the feeling of Melon Leaf caring about our situation and caring about our patients. You know, we serve tens of thousands of patients on an annual basis. One thing I appreciate about Melon Leaf is that they're flexible and very responsive, basically in real time, as simple as a message, a real-time message, or an email, or even a phone call. There's been multiple times where a phone call resolved the situation in real time. So being flexible, being adaptive, and being responsive was some of the most appreciated qualities working with Melon Leaf that helped with at least establishing the relationship and really throughout the entire project and the partnership. So some of the projects working with Melon Leaf, at first I would say they are very complex. And what I appreciated about these projects is, from my perspective, I have a technology background. I'm familiar with coding on a surface level. And working with Melon Leaf, it took those complex projects and situations, and somehow they made it very straightforward and simple. So I'll preface the projects with that statement first and foremost. We worked with three major projects that come to mind. And the first one was a shipping application. In general terms, it basically improved our efficiency for that process 100% because it took two steps and it minimized into one, where you basically can just move that to one step where you're doing one simple scan versus multiple scans and multiple checks in that system. So that was the shipping application, and it took it from a website-based responsibility for our team, and they created an iPhone app where we were actually able to use our phone and use it as an app. So I think that step is often overlooked because the application piece of that made it simpler. We could just simply use our phones rather than have to have a whole desktop setup to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish. And that was something that Melon Leaf crafted, where we were not expecting to be able to have that dynamic flexibility, to be able to use our phones. And after the fact, 2 years later, it's still working great. The second project, I'm going to leave the best one for last. When I say best, I mean the most comprehensive project that at first I didn't think was possible. So the second project was a Windows application. And this one was difficult too. And what I love about Melon Leaf is that we come up with an idea like, hey, here's what I need, here's the outcome. And somehow, like I said, Melon Leaf takes that complexity and says, yes, this is step one, this is step two, and we can do it. So another example of that is a Windows application that allows us to transfer files from basically a desktop computer and place that file into a drive that we need to use as a backup. And that whole application and process is multiple steps, multiple clicks, few minutes per file, and Melon Leaf was able to condense that and automate it. So, that's incredible because we're taking, 9 or 10 steps in a process, and we're moving files from one location to a second location to a third location, and now all of that's automated. And as the future of healthcare for our pharmacy continues to move forward, and it just even in life and in the industry, technology becomes more and more prominent and necessary. So with Melon Leaf, they really propelled that technology for our company. The third project, we called it the integration, and it is a project that I could probably spend the next few hours here explaining because it was that complex and that big of a project. Data and information starting in one system is automatically being pushed into the other system, and all of the data is there, and it could be as complex as sending 200 or 300 pieces of information each time. And somehow in the background, it just happens automatically. That's the expertise of Melon Leaf. And like I said, 200 or 300 pieces of information happening hundreds of times per day, very complex, very comprehensive. And somehow Melon Leaf was able to say, yes, we take step 1, we take step 2, and we can do that. And that's where we are now. That's still happening, and it has helped us make tremendous improvements in our efficiency and utilizing that technology to improve our patient experience and improve the lives of thousands of patients that we serve throughout the United States. And those are the 3 main projects that we've worked with Melon Leaf on. And if there are future projects that we anticipate, we've discussed some, and Melon Leaf has always had the answers for us that we need to say, here's what you need to get there, and it's possible. So yeah, Melon Leaf providing the optimal solution, I think is probably an understatement, because I think that Melon Leaf provided solutions that were above and beyond optimal. So when we think of optimal, I think of, good enough, good, but what Melon Leaf provided to us were those extra steps that you don't see at the end of the project. So I would say that Melon Leaf provided above and beyond optimal expectations, and a lot of that came with input from Melon Leaf and even suggestions from Melon Leaf that ended up in the final project. And I appreciate the transparency and the openness that Melon Leaf provides. And I think that that's where the X factor is to say that Melon Leaf was above and beyond optimal and did produce exactly what we expected and more. What sticks out for Melon Leaf Consulting and being unique is, I would say, the transparency with providing honest feedback for questions and situations. I've worked with dozens of consultants from the healthcare sector, technology sector, IT, all of that. And a lot of them tend to just tell you what you want to hear. What I appreciate about Melon Leaf is the transparency, the honesty with the duration of the project, before, during, and after, and the communication. There were times where we connected through a text message, through an email, through a video conference, like, hey, I need help on this, and they were available and they were there for us. And there's a lot of these technology softwares and systems that, just people like me, we don't fully understand. So it felt good to have somebody on our team who we had a resource where we could just ask the question to, and they would be able to help and resolve our issues if there was one. Now, what else stands out about Melon Leaf and what's unique is the hard work and the consistency of that hard work. You know, I know there's a lot to balance and manage, and Melon Leaf seemed to always be there despite any request that we made, and they would put in that hard work and get it done when we needed to get it done. And I felt that Melon Leaf, we care about our patients, and I felt that Melon Leaf cared about our patients by knowing that if we need something done, then they got it done. I would highly recommend Melon Leaf as Salesforce consulting partners, and that is based on 3 projects that were accomplished and went above and beyond my expectations, and I would highly recommend to go to Melon Leaf for any of your needs in Salesforce.